So the first question that we asked in anthropology was, is man a beast from birth? And I think that the question that really hit it home more so for the students was asking more specifically, is man a mammal? So that was like a direct segue from our discussions in biology into our discussions in anthropology, narrowing in on man. So throughout the program, we take 1 week to study one key theme, and then each of the themes build upon the previous themes that have been discussed. So for anthropology, the first week we discussed the dignity of man. The second week we discussed the deformity of man. After that, for the third week, we discussed the deliverance of man. And then finally, we ended with the destiny of man.
One of our really recent discussions that Davis brought in was this idea of gratifying our glands. That's what the title of it was. It was just the idea of, is life only about fulfillment? Or not fulfillment, but just like satisfaction. Even a temporary satisfaction can be fulfilling. And it really can lure you into just thinking, life truly is about feeling good. And that's kind of twisted, but when you take a step back and really look at it, it's like, it kind of is. Like, is that a Christian way of thinking? Does satisfaction come from things of this earth, or are we truly called to find pleasures in Christ and His work on the cross?
The question that probably stuck out to me the most in the module was whether or not human autonomy is the secret to self-actualization. And that's a super important question. It's one that actually, different variations of it got repeated throughout the module, but implicationally, the way that you answer that affects what you put your identity in, what you put your trust in, what you put your hope in, how you view yourself, how you view others, how you view the Lord. So the implications are just huge for that question and resonate throughout the rest of this program.
The ideas of work and fulfillment, how do we find fulfillment in the work that we do on earth? And how do we look at that from like a Christological perspective? John 6:29 says, Christ is speaking to the Pharisees, and he says, the only work of God that you have is to do this and believe in the one He sent. So if that's truly our only job, our only work is just to simply believe in His Son, then like what's the point of doing anything else, you know? But it's kind of that idea of after you believe, then simply just live, simply just enjoy His presence, enjoy the gifts that He gives you and the wonders and just of His creation. The only work that we have is to simply believe.
So this has actually been really relevant to these students who are just coming out of high school within the last few years, asking these big questions of what does it look like for me to be actualized as a person? And everyone's been asking them this question of, what are you going to do with your life? And so there's just this enormous amount of pressure that these students have been working throughout this module.
So really on like a personal scale, I work at a coffee shop, I'm a barista, and when I first really got on fire about the gospel, I was like, what am I doing here? I just need to quit. I need to quit. I'm not doing the work of God here in this coffee shop. I need to just like take my Bible out and start preaching on the street corner. And I said, that's what I'm called to do. But that's not true. That's not at all what I'm called to do. I'm called to simply do the work that God has put in front of me. He's given me this opportunity to connect to people and to just love on them like Christ would love on them. So, I mean, in doing that, you can have this eternal perspective where I'm dedicating this work to an eternal cause. And then look at that in the scope of work and fulfillment and how we find fulfillment in seemingly unfulfilling jobs.